8 U.S. ships near Venezuela, but the loudest weapon isn't firing. It's watching. The AC-130 Ghost Rider is circling, sensors hot, guns cold, because lawyers, not gunners, are calling the tempo. Stay here and you'll see how a legal debate over calling drug cartels unlawful combatants froze kinetic options, pushed the P-8A into ISR overdrive, and turned a show of force into a pressure net. We'll map the assets reportedly in play, why a nuclear fast attack sub and a special ops mothership matter, and what pauses on land strikes mean for the next 72 hours. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great! Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. An AC-130 orbits with every barrel quiet. Not a single round leaves the bay. Why does the most feared gunship turn into a flying courtroom? The mission label reads Counternarcotics. The footprint is larger than a single airframe, reports point to 8 U.S. naval ships, a Navy P-8A, and special operations support staging within reach of Venezuelan waters.
Well, how are tensions between the U.S. and Venezuela rising right now?
One way that they're rising, Ike, is that the Venezuelan government is conducting these large-scale militia trainings. They've called up civilians to join the reservists. There are still questions, of course, as I was mentioning, right, about the legality of it and also just the specifics. Where exactly was the boat going? Who exactly was on it? It is important to distinguish, though, is they have designated several cartels as foreign terrorist organizations. And so that's some of what they are saying in order to, not further escalate this as an attack.
The posture says pressure, not invasion. The task is to find, fix, and freeze maritime drug flows while staying inside the lines. But the lines are the fight. Inside Washington, lawyers weigh whether cartel actors meet the threshold for unlawful combatant. Without that status, pulling a trigger ashore risks breaking the legal chain that ties authority to action. So pilots hold. Ships maneuver. The clock runs. Past counterdrug playbooks leaned on the sea. Stop the boats. Warn from the air. You've seen cutters, helicopters, ribs, and radios doing the work. Not 105mm shells into a barrio. So the Ghost Rider stalks at standoff, sensors open, cannons sealed. It draws a map, launch points, storage nodes, handoff beaches, then waits for a green light that may not come. The war zone flag site surveys and asset shifts, but pins the uncertainty, exact platforms, tasking, timelines. Open source trackers trace AC-130, P-8A, and C-40 hops out of El Salvador, a breadcrumb trail without the classified page that explains why. The story is movement with intent, minus the ending. Think of the gunship as a judge's clerk. It gathers exhibits, logs times, tags voices. It does not drop the hammer. The record matters before the verdict. Ghost Rider's EO/IR, low-light cameras, and SIGINT queues build target folders with routes and rhythms, while the P-8A fuses radar sweeps, AIS gaps, and intercepted chatter to stitch a maritime pattern you can act on without a shot. You expect a strike package. You get a net. The legal team debates off-camera while the surveillance lattice tightens around suspected go-fasts and shore links. Payoff: why no firing? Because ROE sits on legal status, without clear authorities, ISR becomes pressure by other means.
Now, Venezuela is accusing the U.S. Navy of boarding a fishing boat in Venezuelan waters. A statement from the Foreign Ministry says 18 people carrying long-range weapons boarded a tuna fishing boat and occupied it for 8 hours.
Tension is rising in that region as the U.S. bolsters the Caribbean with military. There were 5 F-35 fighter jets that arrived over the weekend.
Now, the official also says the incident happened in international waters and did not last 8 hours. The U.S. official says the crew of the Navy ship received information about the Venezuelan boat carrying drugs, but didn't find any drugs during the search.
If the guns are cold, the fleet still moves. So what are those 8 hulls and the P-8A doing right now? 8 ships loom. A fast attack sub lurks. A special ops mothership waits. If not strikes, what effect do they generate? Start with the mix. AP-8A runs maritime patrol. Special operations elements stage off a host platform. Surface combatants hold lanes. The mission lines up with anti-drug interdiction and a clean show of force, a posture built to pressure routes, crews, and decisions without firing first. Public talk sells drama and regime change. The reality moves under rules and lawyers. The campaign has to look ready, sound ready, and still keep the safeties on until the ink says go. Watch the patterns. The P-8A flies long racetracks over the approaches, stitching radar sweeps, EO/IR tracks, ESM pings, and AIS gaps into a live plot of go-fasts and handoff points. Surface ships set interdiction boxes like net cords, with helicopters and RHIB teams rehearsing approach angles, loud hailer calls, and hook and climb routines for compliant and non-compliant boardings. Reporting points to strikes on alleged drug boats at sea, while anything ashore pauses for legal review. That split matters. It pushes action to blue water and locks restraint on land, shaping targets toward hulls you can seize and crews you can detain. The mothership concept keeps small craft and UAVs on station for hours, launching and recovering out of sight, running mission plans, refuel, and quick fixes without a peer. Persistence rises, footprint stays low. The sub's role is quiet pressure. It gathers covert ISR, watches choke points, and signals presence without chatter. You don't see it. You plan around it. That alone bends choices. Regionally, Caracas shrugs in public while neighbors run their own math. The message becomes the method. Force in being as signal, not missile. The effect is time, doubt, and routes gone dark. Payoff, what are they doing? They're building a surveillance and interdiction lattice. The P-8A cues targets. Special operations posture for boardings and seizures while legal teams decide if wider fires unlock. The next 72 hours hinge on signatures and authorities, not fuel or ammo. What would you do when the law throttles the trigger? Comment your choice below. If you want the tactical mindset behind this, subscribe now. Authority decides tempo. Without it, steel turns into optics, and pressure shifts from rounds to records. In this theater, ISR isn't a sideshow, it's the substitute for a missing signature. You've seen how that plays: P-8A plots, Ghost Rider watches, routes bend under a sensor net. Comment your choice below: push immediate maritime interdictions only, or hold for full legal cover before any kinetic move. If you want more hard-nosed breakdowns like this, subscribe. Power moves fast. Law moves slow. The side that locks them together sets the tempo, shapes the targets, and dictates the clock the other side has to live on.